am so excited to be here with Shawn Sherlock. She is the publisher and founder of Spotlight Families magazine. And you're such a powerhouse woman in the community.
Oh my gosh.
You are so wonderful.
Equally.
Mutual admiration.
Mutual. It's an honor to actually be here. You know, I just adore you, and I've kind of, the moment I moved to this area, everybody said, meet Kate, gotta meet Kate. Everybody gotta meet Kate.
Aw, don't
and I met her.
This is about
right,
you.
You like how I'm flipping this?
I know.
And it's been everything and then some in meeting you. So,
aw, thank
this
you.
This is just wonderful.
She's so amazing.
So, thank you.
So amazing. All right, let's talk about you, since that's what we're here to talk about.
Okay.
All right, so you do so many things. You're a powerhouse in the community. You're involved in so much stuff. You've got this amazing magazine. Tell us a little bit about Shawn. Like, I know it's hard to do, but like, what's like the 1 minute overview?
I am somebody that when you ask for 100%, you're going to get 500%. I'm not half in, I'm all in, or I'm not in at all. And it has definitely been an interesting road to get to where we're at. I'm a great multitasker. I know everybody kind of beats that down, but if I don't have it, I wouldn't be able to have the magazine. And I'm just deeply passionate. Some people kind of jump out in the business world and it's all about the money, and that's wonderful, but the driving force for me was the passion behind the story to get there. And thankfully, it's taken a while. We're kind of slowly seeing it's entrenching in our community, and we're seeing a really good forward momentum, so it feels great.
So tell us, here's the magazine. This is the first one, the inaugural one.
Stop page back here for this amazing. Just saying.
We want to know. Yes, I contributed to the first one, which was very exciting.
Then Blake Shelton, he goes.
So what, you talk about the passion behind it, and I see it. I see the passion, absolutely. I mean, you put your heart and soul into this magazine. So why start a magazine?
A lot of people ask me, actually I get asked that a lot.
I'm sure.
Every day. There are days that I've had my challenges where I thought, what the heck am I doing? Why? I think it was a combo of a couple of things all colliding at the same time in a great way. I had been a reporter for several years, and everybody in the reporting world knows you either go into reporting or you go into anchoring. And if you go into reporting, it's a segment that you do, or general. And I always flocked to family. Before I had kids, I have a 10-year-old, soon to be 21 practically, and a 2-year-old going on like 2 still. And so I always flocked to family stories. And I think it's because I would just be mesmerized by meeting moms, dads, teens, youth that were just trying to make ends meet and came up with the idea of a business out of necessity or love or passion or something. And I would always just listen over the years, and it would always just tug at my heart, and I would just, I'd tell the person, that is amazing, like, oh my gosh, if you told your story to somebody else, you can inspire somebody else, just like, there are people, I'm telling you, there are people like you. And, 1 or 2 people here and there actually did go out and start working within the community. And so, fast forward, I had my first son, and I tried to go back to reporting full time. It was very hard being a brand new mom and getting called up for stories at 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Trying to find a sitter at 2 in the morning was virtually impossible. So I left and started in the nonprofit world. Always growing up, my family was big time into giving back to the community. On my holidays, I fed the homeless. You name it, my mom and my aunt really instilled in me, you have to, no matter how rich or poor you are, you should always give back. And I definitely did that, and that just stuck with me over the years. So I was very fortunate to meet an amazing group of women, besides the Women's Foundation, with the Junior League. And this will be my 7th year with them. And a couple years back, as fate would have it, I joined their publication. I thought, gosh, this is kind of something, I might like this, because I used to tell stories on air, really just telling them in print. And I did.
And what attracted you to that, to taking on that role? Because I know that alone.
It was a
role.
task. It was a task at the time. There was a lot of transition with the magazine itself, and in general, the philosophy in the publication industry for the past 7 years has been it's a dying animal. There are two things. I'm totally here to debunk that. Okay, there are things that people want to invest their time and money in: animals and babies, families. And I would go around, I started doing, while I jumped into the role, what the Junior League has done is they empower women to learn other things. And I was able to go around and meet printers and really learn the numbers of how the magazine works. And I did this for 2 years. And
this is a volunteer position, right?
Totally volunteer.
Okay.
So outside of me working full time, I jumped in 20, 25 hours a week easily, sometimes more. And we got this kick-ass committee together and changed and revamped the magazine. And we got great feedback. And I would tell you that it was the first issue that it was one of these aha moments. I opened it up and I really loved the stories in it, and somebody sat down with me for lunch one day and they're like, have you ever actually thought about doing this and like pulling in your reporting? And I said, yeah, I don't know. I think kind of the misconception, it's a dying industry. And but it just sat on my shoulder and I thought, I'm gonna actually look into this, like seriously look into this. And I started doing some research. And there's great magazines around. They're more generalized. And in our area, there was not one publication solely geared on just the stories of families. It was, you could get a newsletter, you could have, there are, I could think of 12 amazing magazines. I read them all.
Right.
And it was one of those, you know what, I think there's a void. I think I'm gonna do this. No, I'm gonna do this. And
so let me ask that then. When you decided, there's so many things you're saying that I'm like, oh my gosh, for anybody that's watching, is just especially that sense of someone's already done it.
Yeah.
Like someone's already, yes, there are no new like ideas, right? Like, business start every day and you can say, oh, people are already doing that. There's already, that space is full. And in the publishing world, like that space is full.
It's full.
But you said there was a need, I'm going to do it. So let me ask this then. What was that turning point of, okay, I think I'm going to do this to yes, I'm going to do this?
February 13th, 2013.
At 12:02.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Yeah. Somebody just asked me this yesterday. It was another series of things. I had been working on a side project, and I was feeling like it wasn't necessarily the avenue that I wanted to take. And around that same time, it was the gratification of two stories that I did in the first issue. One, got in contact with another story and really had an idea about what they had always dreamed of wanting to do this other story idea as a business. They got together and now they're partnering together. And it was hearing that, I went, oh my, this is what I want to do.
Like you collaborate.
I was so excited about that. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. And it felt like, I don't do drugs, but it felt like if somebody was like all in it, that's what it felt like. And I literally was like, I love this. I absolutely love this. And it kind of it was around that time that also any of my personal friends know I have a deep admiration for Tyrese Gibson. He is an actor, and he's an amazing dad. I'm just throwing it out there.
Do you know him personally?
No, but I will meet him one day.
Okay.
I will definitely meet him one day. I even mentioned this. He's in my first issue, and I said the February 13th, 2000.
Oh my gosh!
So that same day that I had this idea, he gives great. You would like him actually. He's an amazing dad, and that's what I loved about his stories. And he always is loving listening to the community about what they're into, and if he's into it. You know, he gives support and whatever, it's verbally or whatever. So that same day, I had always logged on and listened to great inspirational quotes. And it literally said that today is going to be the day that thing that's been tapping on your shoulder, it's today. So stop it, stop doing this and start jumping in. Pick up the phone, tell people this is what you're going to do, and if they believe in what you're going to do, then that's what's meant to be.
I love it.
And it was a combo of that, the feeling of knowing that maybe this is an avenue to engage people and get others inspired on a family level. And that was my driving force behind it.
I love it. Oh my gosh, there is so much that I love of things that you're saying. First of all, the fact that you took on a volunteer opportunity to really learn the ropes of this.
Right.
You know, before starting something, you really got into like the nitty gritty, just hands dirty, and saw all the ins and outs of what it would take.
Yeah.
Which is really important to do before you dive into something or starting any kind of a new business.
Right.
And then to actually do it. So I think a lot of people, we all have kind of that tapping on the shoulder of that thing that you can't stop thinking about that you want to do.
Right.
And for so many people and for so many women that I know that you speak to all the time, what advice would you give them? Because they have that desire, but maybe they still are working that full-time job, or they just don't have the courage to take that next step into doing what it is that they really want to do.
One of the biggest advices that I got was when I was learning kind of the ropes about the magazine industry. I thought this is great in a nonprofit world, right? In the bigger world, the big dog world, where I'm going to be investing my personal money, I need a real mentor. And I made a couple calls to the owners of other magazines.
Can we just stop right there for a second? She made a couple calls. Like, she didn't wait for somebody to reach out to her. She didn't kind of sit around and hope and pray. Like, you really, you took action and you picked up the phone. And I love that, because people, they love helping people.
They will.
Right?
If you don't, that is the biggest thing I've learned. If you do not express it, do not expect to sit in your house and the door's gonna knock and Oprah Winfrey's at your door.
Oh, that would be really cool.
You know what I mean? And giving you a car. It just doesn't happen that way. You know what I mean?
But you have to have the courage to pick up the phone and be okay with, hey, that person might reject me. You know, that
be okay with that. But there's a 99% chance that's what they're going to say, because it happened to me.
Right.
I had first two people. That's great. Good luck. Wish you the best of luck. And, thanks for calling. I just don't have the time. And then one lady who I don't want to say their name, but one lady has been my mentor. So every week for 2 hours, we go through the nitty gritty. And the cool thing is, I've actually been able to tell her some great advice on things that she could implement in her magazine, and vice versa. That for me is the key advice. If you don't have a mentor and you're jumping into uncharted territory, I mean, who wants to reinvent the wheel?
Right.
You're gonna spend your days trying. Just cut it and go directly to somebody, and if you don't ask, you'll never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You're going to run into enough challenges even with that mentor, like alone, like try to eliminate as many as you can with the mistakes that they've already made and seen.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
I'll tell you another really good one, because this happened yesterday. So we were in the middle of interviewing. She'll be a wonderful lady. She's a business coach. And we all know so many amazing business coaches in this area. So we're in the middle of the interview, and she says, we're revamping our website. And I said, great. And she goes, I've been working on this for 10 hours today. And I said, hold on, wait, you're working on it? And she goes, I must consume 40 hours a week working on this. And I go, okay, hold on. Have you ever thought about just spending a little bit of extra money? You're going to be able to take the 40 hours and put it into what you're wanting to do.
Yes.
Or did you go to IT school? Do you do web design? Are you passionate about this? And I said, because there's so many people out there for, not zero budget, but a little budget or a lot. In 3 hours later,
Oh my
we were
gosh.
breaking down her process, and we determined that rather than the next issue, we would wait for a good down the road until she felt comfortable with revamping some stuff. But that was another thing. Sometimes you gotta buckle down and invest.
You have to
You have to invest. You can't just
1,000%.
magically go out. I mean, God bless everybody. There are people that are able to it just happens overnight. That's
I
not
don't
me.
even believe that's true, but there's
You're
all
right,
behind
right.
the scenes we don't know about. But that's a good point. I think as business owners, a lot of times we would rather try to do everything and figure
Yes.
it all out than to spend the money. But at some point, you have to decide.
Right.
Spending the money, it makes sense. And you're actually like a genius when it comes to building a team too. You've got some really phenomenal people on your team. They
Yes.
work really hard. They're very passionate about the mission behind what you're doing.
Yes.
How do you find those people?
Well, a lot of them were on my committee in the nonprofit sense. It was one of those, I had worked with them for so long that I could not even see venturing into something new without them. So I was very blessed in that sense. And I did not do anything quick. It took a little over a year to put the team into place before we even made the announcement that I was putting a magazine out. Mm-hmm. So we kind of went through we know it's going to be an uphill battle, and this is how we're going to respond to it. And I just really wanted to see if everybody gelled really well, and they did. We had a couple people go into different ventures, but I love the team that we have in place. And if I did not have the team that I have in place right now today, we would not be sitting here going into our 4th issue.